Killer Brooks.
Mr. Bosch, I'm tired of making my challenge. I come out here every week and I make a challenge. No one accepts my challenge. If you'll notice, when I make my interviews, the other wrestlers like to shy away because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want these people to know that they won't accept a dogfight match. No one around here will even consider a dogfight match with Killer Brooks. Now, I want to know what's wrong with all these wrestlers in Texas. Some of the best wrestlers.
When you say no one, make sure you say except Bruiser Brody. I can beat you with a chair, a cage, a damn chain.
You keep his finger out of my face.
I'm telling you.
You said you'd wrestle him, and he's...
Put him in the ring. You put him in the ring. Put him in the ring. You get in the ring with me.
Wait.
Paul, I'm going to tell you and I'm going to tell everybody out there, the guy's mouth is bigger than his brain. He can come out here and pass that gaga out every week about no one. Well, he better learn the word except. When he says no one, he better mean except yours truly, Bruiser Brody. Because I've told everybody here when I came back 6 months ago, the new Bruiser Brody's better, tougher, meaner, and still better than the first Bruiser Brody. And no big mouth like Killer Brooks or whatever he goes by is going to come in here and say no one without saying except Bruiser Brody. Because he don't want to fight me no more than Nick Bockwinkel wanted to, Harley Race wants to, the Maniac. I'm the man who come in and told you that only I could get rid of the Maniac. And I've done it. I've beat him and I proved myself.
So, Mr. Harley Race.
Wait a minute.
You heard.
Hey.
You heard him say something about you, and he's the guy who has been challenging you too.
I want to clarify what he said about
And
me.
no one means except Bruiser Brody for the world's champion, for the Maniac, or for anybody else who wants to come to Houston and slap them big jaws, including you.
Let me tell you something.
I think he told you off.
Telling somebody off and doing something about it's two different things. I happen to be world's heavyweight champion. You don't win this by garbage. You don't win this by standing here, running your big mouth and proving to everyone that you can talk louder than they can. The talk ends and the action begins in that squared circle. Now you get your big overstuffed carcass in there anytime you feel fit, Daddy, because this is on the line to any living human being in wrestling. And I think you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Bosch. I just proved it all over again. I am now 3 times world's heavyweight champion. And I can truthfully say I can beat any man in the world, and that includes that big overstuffed water buffalo.
Well, the overstuffed water buffalo evidently struck a vital point on world's champion Harley Race. But it is true that Bruiser Brody is better than he's ever been. But Harley Race looks like he is in top condition right now. We'll find out tonight. He wrestles Halcon, and Halcon is going to remove his mask in the match tonight. Sit down strike, if you will. He has just been awarded a victory over the AWA champion Nick Bockwinkel on a disqualification in the 3rd fall, but Bockwinkel's title, according to Texas state rules, cannot change hands on a disqualification. You see world's heavyweight champion Harley Race coming into the ring and trying now to punish the Brody and lets him have it. Oh, and here is the world's champion catching a beating for kicking Bruiser Brody in the neck. There, we've got to hold it, Tom. Hold this, will you?
Championship. Introducing first on my left, 230 pounds from Mexico, the challenger El Halcon. From Kansas City, Missouri, 245-pound heavyweight champion of the world, Harley Race.
Well, Harley Race has made one mistake tonight, and that was kicking Bruiser Brody. This match is the match in which El Halcon is to unmask before this match begins. Race just looks a little bit the worse for wear out there. He's on his feet, but he is shaking his head, and Halcon is anxious to get. There is the mask off, and there is El Halcon, and he is following up in the tradition of Bruiser Brody and setting up the driving drop kick, and a good one. And Halcon follows the champion to keep up this punishment. There's a cross chop and a good one. On top is El Halcon. There's one, there's two, and Race just barely made it out. The diving head first tackle, and Halcon is set to, whoa, man, he whipped him around. There it is, El Halcon. Yeah. There is the man without his mask, and El Halcon, the challenger, one fall ahead. And I'll tell you, he got an assist from the big man, Bruiser Brody. This crowd here is going crazy. He said he would remove his mask. He said he would come out here and wrestle without his mask, because in their last contest, the champion turned his mask around and beat him when he was not in a position to see. We have had some wild scenes happen in this ring, but I doubt if any championship match has ever begun on such a note as this one began tonight. We'll be back here in a moment for the start of the second fall after we have this word from the studio. Still on his knees. This is his first effort to get to his feet. There are 30 seconds remaining in the time limit between falls. And the challenger, El Halcon, is anxious and eager to move in on him. This is the first look that the fans here have had of El Halcon without his mask. The time starts to sift down, and Halcon is anxious and eager to move in on Harley Race.
4, 3, 2, 1, the bell.
There, he's right on him at the bell, and Race, as he catches another series of blows, is in serious trouble. Halcon trying to follow up on the kind of punishment that Bruiser Brody gave Harley Race. Halcon, I have always thought, is better at his wrestling style, and he is now coming in here to try to pound out a win over Harley Race. He may find that's the best way to do it. Brody surely must have softened the champion to a great degree, and the Race literally trying to recover from an inordinate amount of punishment, and Halcon trying to make sure that he doesn't. Man down, Harley Race. There's one, there's two, and that crowd just come up and back there because Race looked like he was going to be stripped of his title in a manner that no champion has ever lost, particularly since that punishment came before this match got underway. So Halcon caught a headbutt from Harley Race. Race is adept at using headbutts, and now he has come out there to belt Halcon, and Halcon hits him with one of those wild arm wallops. And so Race in and out of the ring. The challenger trying to make sure that that rope underneath his back proves to be an ally of his. Halcon pouring it to a not yet recovered Harley Race, who was one fall behind and could quickly and surely be at least 2 falls behind in this tremendous effort to keep his grip on the National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight title. So Race hanging on would be the way to say it. He has jabbed at the face of El Halcon. Oh, did you see that cross-handed chop? There is Halcon on top, and there is 2, and Harley Race raises his shoulder. Halcon tries to set the champion up. Oh, man, what a crashing landing. There's 2, and Harley Race got out from underneath. But I'll tell you, the kind of a crash landing he made is the kind that you don't recover from easily. Halcon, side headlock, trying to keep Race under submission. And Halcon now finds Race stubborn and intransigent as he tried to haul him over, but that's one way to bring him down. On top, Halcon 2, and just 2. He oozed his way out from underneath Halcon that time. Halcon trying now for the winning fall, a lift, atomic drop. Oh. He dropped him right on that knee, and solidly and hard, and Harley Race scores the equalizing fall.
3 minutes, 57 seconds, the champion Harley Race.
So Harley Race takes the equalizing fall from El Halcon, but there still remains the 3rd and deciding fall of this battle, as Race lies there and again bring up that same subject, wonders what hit him. And we've got Halcon anxious and eager to get at the champion. The Halcon's full of fire, but that last drop on the knee had to have some effect on him. We'll be back here in a moment. Let's have this word from the studio. So now with Harley Race on his feet, there is still a minute left in the intermission period between matches. There is a 2-minute interval between falls in this battle under NWA rules, and Harley Race probably wishes it was 10 minutes. He is now, for the first time, testing the wounds that have been handed to him. He is bleeding, but not nearly as badly as Bruiser Brody was bleeding in their altercation before the match, but Race here shaking that head of his, and he has done this repeatedly all through this match, as though he is not yet aware that he was in a match. And he knows he's in a match because Halcon is making sure of that. But you've got to remember that instinct plays a tremendous part in contests of this kind. So the bell sounds. This is the 3rd, the deciding fall of this battle. This will decide who is the heavyweight champion of the world. And Halcon, who is a former national champion of Mexico, wants nothing more than to be able to take this world title to Mexico and be the first man of his country to win the heavyweight title. The light heavyweight title is still owned in Mexico, where there are many light heavyweight wrestlers, and Halcon wants to make it a clean sweep. So Race's arm was caught. He managed to get it loose, and you see Halcon going after another combination hold that keeps the champion in trouble. Arm bar, and it's well applied. That arm is straight and taut, and the champion come out of that nicely to get a leg breaker. But again, notice how he's shaking his head. Notice that he has been doing this since Brody lowered the boom on him early in the match, and now Race puts out to try to keep Halcon down on the canvas, but you can't do it that way. Halcon going after the further arm. He's got a crucifix hold and just barely. Notice that Race was rolling and twisting his body, and that twisted the right shoulder up. Crotch shoulder lift and slam with Halcon on top, and Halcon's effort is all out to pin Race. He's tried wearing him down. Race may be worn down as far as he is going, but here is a double arm lock, and he may have a Race here with the sunset flip, and there is two, and there was a use of the legs by the champion that just came in the very, very nick of time, and that's Race's headbutt. He uses it frequently. This is the first time in this match, but notice who came back with a headbutt, but more in the form of a diving tackle, and Race keeping after Halcon, and this time it's Race who comes over there with his teeth and chomps down on Senor Halcon. Race has not walked across that ring naturally since this match began, but he has certainly been knocked to the canvas naturally on a number of occasions. You saw what he did. He grabbed everything he could, including a pair of tights, to get rid of Halcon. And Halcon dropped on Race's knee, and Race, I think Race may have been thinking in terms of an atomic drop, and Halcon was turned in the wrong direction. Atomic drops are usually grabbed from the rear, and in this particular case, Halcon was facing the champion when the hold was applied. So Race unable to capitalize on what should have been a great opportunity. They're in the ropes. The referee is counting, trying to get them back into the ring, and Halcon comes to life. And he's going for a small package, and as he goes back, he does not get Race's shoulders down. He did not get Race's shoulders down. Race's shoulders on both sides were up on that occasion. He had a great hold, but he went back too far with it, and the very going back is what raised Race's shoulders. And Race again finds coordination difficult. Here is Halcon going for a Boston Crab, trying to double him up with this reverse Boston Crab. And Race is being given the option as to whether he wants to quit or whether he wants to continue. And the fans are screaming for Halcon to break his back. Yes, in that many words. And now Halcon goes for a pinfall again and again. There is that shoulder up. And whatever Harley Race is experiencing, his instinct to keep from being flat on his back is what has saved his bacon a number of times. Halcon trying to set the champion up, but he ran into him, and Race ran into him, and we've got a simultaneous crash that took longer to knock Race out because Race is closer to being knocked out and has been all through this match. Halcon with that billy goat butt. And there's one. Again, Race raises that left shoulder and raises it in time. Race on top. Got to hit him in order for those blows to really take effect. And Halcon he wanted to, but he's not going to. Here is Halcon going for a dive. Oh. What a bad way to fall. There are a few good ways to fall, but that was a bad way to fall. He missed it. There is a back body drop. That's a bad way to fall too. There it is. And the winner, the world's heavyweight champion, still Harley Race, who manages to come out of the
Harley Race
difficulties of a bad start and come up with the win. And Bruiser Brody in the ring. And after Harley Race, and Bruiser Brody takes the world title belt from Harley Race. Harley Race is wondering what hit him. Bruiser Brody come in there and clobbered him and out of the ring with the belt. He won the match. He is still the world's champion, but right now the belt is in the possession of Bruiser Brody. And Harley Race is asking me where his belt is. His guess is as good as mine. We'll be back here in a moment after this word from the studio.